If you were to look down the stairwell at this root cellar build, you might notice that this door seems a little small. If I step up on there, it's not even coming up to my shoulders. So why is my door so small? Well, one thing is we just poured this concrete pad above the root cellar, so you have an almost like 8 by 12 empty void here that this had to span. And one thing I wanted to do was to make sure I had a good support system here as a type of header to catch this entire thing. And left almost 16 inches here that I kind of don't really need. So thankfully, I just got this concrete saw from VEVOR, and we're gonna test it out. I've got quite a bit of experience with concrete saws, used a number of them, from a couple different handheld ones to then also some walk behind ones, some that just kind of run regular, some that you hook up water to. This keep things clear. I'm excited to see how it does here, and it's going to be the perfect tool to cut through not only this 4-inch concrete, but also the rebar that's inside it. So the first thing I'm going to do is remove some more of the styrofoam so I can get in there closer. Then I'm going to mark it out and we're going to cut it and see how we do. So now I have the opportunity to get flat on the concrete. If I had a bigger saw, maybe I could just cut through both, but I've got a 9-inch blade on here, so I want to get flat up against the concrete. Now this one you can see has got a nice couple little wheels. If you hold that flat on your surface, it allows you to go in at a 90-degree angle, control your depth. Over the years, the people I've talked to about cutting things with a concrete saw, they say, you know, cut maybe an inch deep at most on a swipe. Otherwise, you're going through so much material, so that's the way that I do it. Maybe not everyone agrees, that's the way I've been doing it for years. So what I'm gonna try to do is get this as tight up here as I can, come across at a straight line, and then bring these up to give us more of a height, because right now, even some of my smaller children can hit their head on that. So that's not ideal for us. I will say too, the setup for this was really easy. It came mostly assembled, just had to put the blade on and then hook up this. That was it. Real easy, real simple. And I'm looking forward to see what it does. Before I actually cut into my project though, I've got some junk slabs of concrete around. I'm gonna do a test just to make sure it's capable of what I want before I bring it in here and potentially mess up a project. One option that I have with this is to take this pump, put it in some water, and actually put some water on the blade. That helps cool the blade. It also helps knock down dust. I'm not going to use it here because I'm in a stairwell heading down to the root cellar. The stairs can become slippery. I'm holding it at this height. I don't want water getting all over me. I don't want to slip with this machine, and I don't want to make a mess. I'd rather have a dusty mess than a muddy wet mess. But I'm just going to show you how that works quick by turning it on and taking a cut of this, and you'll notice the lack of dust or the reduced amount when you run the water on it. So that water there is going to cool the blade and knock down the dust too. Some of that little cloud you see is just the water vapor, but you can see it's not a cloudy, dusty mess because I'm running that water. Again, it's not gonna work for me in the project I'm working on, but that's a great feature that this has, and a lot of times when we have concrete saws that have that option, we love running water. It's good to keep that blade cool, and it's good to keep that dust knocked down. Just like when we tested out the jackhammer, I'm gonna use one of these little pieces of concrete I got here. I'm just gonna take a cut all the way through it. We're gonna see how it does, and we'll check the cut, check how it performs before we start it on this project. So there was 3 times in there where I tripped the breaker on my thing. I wasn't holding it exactly right, so I could feel it kind of get bound up, and then it exerts more, effort, and that's when it tripped the breaker. If I would have held it straight the whole time, I think it would have done just fine. Let's go check out this cut though. So if we look at this cut, you can see where I went a few times at a slightly different angle. I wasn't letting it rest on it the whole way because this wasn't a long continuous cut on a flat surface. This is a short block, so if that's the case, this only provides so much support for it. And then after that I gotta get past it and kind of do my own thing, which is why I adjusted this a couple different times. That was very easy to use, very easy to adjust. The only deal is I like to tighten things really hard. So I had to loosen it a little bit more. But this cut really nice, except for right at the bottom where it was extra deep. It cut through all the way. When I flipped it over, I was gonna cut that, but then that part just broke. But it looks really nice. Did what it was supposed to. You can see some of the paint came off the blade. It's a brand new blade. Right away, I was amazed at how quickly it just sunk in there. And was really impressed with that, but it's a brand new blade, so that should be expected. This said, I'm ready to use this on my actual project that I've been working on for years. And I feel confident that I'm not going to jeopardize my project by using this tool on there. So let's get to it. I will say too, whenever you're using equipment like this, make sure to read the owner's manual, put some earplugs in, put some safety glasses on, have something to prevent you from breathing in all that dust. And then also, most importantly, if you've got like a 2-foot long dread beard, just kind of tuck that inside your shirt or something so it doesn't get caught up in any moving parts ripped off your chin. You're not going to like that. So we're just going to kind of mark this out with what I think I can get. I'll be framing it in as well with wood before I put the actual door in there, so that's going to create the frame for it. So if there's some imperfections, I can take care of those in the wood. So I don't need this 100%, but I want it close, I want it accurate. I'll mention as well, you see those concrete slabs I had over there that I used as a test piece? That's all this, the walls of my stairwell, is just busted up pieces of concrete people had and discarded. The same thing with the stairs I'm walking on. So you can get creative, you can reuse all sorts of stuff. Don't let everything be trashed to you, because then you're just gonna need to go out and buy something to replace what you threw away. So I like the look of it. It serves its purpose well, and it was free. So that's a good price. Yeah, that did the job. So, 9-inch blade, you've got the center of it, right? You know, that's almost 2 inches there. That's over an inch and a half. So I'm able to make a cut through this 4-inch concrete and rebar about 3¼ inches deep, which is good, because what I don't want is to cut this all the way free, have it fall on my legs, have it drop down, smash and break my floor or something else. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna try to hold it and have my children tap and chisel this thing out. And I think that'll work. We'll see. I totally didn't plan it that way, but this VEVOR oscillating tool is going to be what I use on the back side. On each side, there's little plastic strips that are connecting the concrete to the styrofoam. So there's 4 of those strips on the other side that are actually holding this up right now. My goal is to have my daughter cut them free while I hang on to this. And then when it lets loose, I'm able to grab it and carry it out. We can't have it drop on its own, so I'm gonna hang on to it for her to get underneath there. I've got them marked at the right height. She's gonna go cut those and we'll see how it works. So, camera footage may have cut out before he busted that free or not. I was trying to figure out what was going wrong, and what it was a miscommunication, a lack of understanding. Pretty much my daughter didn't realize these went all the way through to the back. So she was cutting that front part, that thick part right there, making sure she had cut through. And she wasn't cutting all the way to the concrete, so they were still all hung together by that plastic. And until I broke the concrete free from the foam, it wasn't coming loose. I was trying to figure out why I wasn't hearing her hit concrete when she was heading in there, but I'm like, she must just be being really careful. So anyway, that came through. And if you look, I mean, that cut to a really good depth. There wasn't much left, and I could have gone to the inside and then matched up my line and cut from the inside to make the difference. That's what I've done before. But the deal is, that's a really confined space, and I didn't want all that dust in there, even with a fan out here. I didn't want to do it. Plus I have the height restriction in there, where here I can kind of have the machine back from the edge, but there I'm running into the ceiling. So I did it fine, and look, even that rebar cut right through there. I saw the sparks shooting, but yeah, cut through there just fine. So now I've got a much taller entryway here. My VEVOR concrete saw did amazing. I definitely like it. It definitely did exactly what it should. Oh wow. Yeah, that's so much better of a height. My children are gonna love it. My wife's gonna love it. So much better. So absolutely. one step closer to completing this project. Thank you, VEVOR. Not only did the concrete saw work awesome on this project, the oscillating tool did as well. And now I've got that much less concrete to deal with. I'll have a link in the description for that concrete saw if you want to check it out online. Definitely for a 9-inch blade saw, that's great. Absolutely. You know, it's obviously not a walk behind. It's not a big blade saw, but a 9-inch blade does exactly what it should. It worked very well. Like I said, it was a new blade, but I was impressed at how quickly it sunk in there. And looking forward to having this around because obviously, like I said, these stairs I did before, repurposed concrete, the walls here, all sorts of other stuff. It's a handy tool to have around. Link will be in the description. I'll see you next time. Papa out.
Thank you for watching. Hit the like button. Thumbs up. For real.
The cow head is good?
Yeah.
That's because you know.